mentality I try to practice and implement is just focusing on what I'm doing. So my race plan, right? And rowing, you can't get tackled in rowing, right? No one can stop you from doing your race plan. I really try to ignore what it means. Like a lot of people get freaked out before the race because they're like, oh my God, like what do the heat looks like and like who's in my quarterfinal and I got to get top three and like then at 1,000 they're like, oh my God, I'm not in the top three, like this is a disaster. And right, they like freak themselves out. And I just think about like I'm again just going back to the things that I know I can do. When I just focus on what I need to do, that's going to give me the best results. Like I'm going into this, all I got to do is something I've already done before. Like it's just putting those pieces together again, which I've done before, and I have a bunch of evidence that I've done it before. So like that's okay. And if I've done all of that and I've done the best I can, and like and I don't get it, like if it doesn't get like the result I want, what more was I going to do? It like removes all like fear or like what are people going to think? Like who cares? Like you've done what you can and you did it to the very best of your ability in that moment. And you've done all the prep and all that sort of stuff. And like sometimes like when you do that more often than not, things go your way, but sometimes it doesn't. And like because of that, like I feel very little pressure. And that's great. The most important thing is that you have to enjoy the training and you have to enjoy uh, slow progress. It doesn't really matter how good you are at it if you don't enjoy it. Like if you're like I know plenty of people who I would kill for their VO2 max or their body composition or their two, whatever. Uh, but they just didn't love rowing. They were good at it and they enjoyed hanging out with their friends, but they didn't love just doing the rowing and the training and the hours, right? And so like they didn't last very long. It's especially for younger rowers. They're really keen to do the Instagrammable things. So like the things that look really cool on Instagram, like I don't know, like whether it's lifting a ton of weight or like because it just shows like, oh, I'm such an engine. And it's doing the simple thing, like the smart, simple things right. So like but the things that like no one sees. So like doing steady state at the right speed and the right cadence for that distance, or like making if you work with heart rates, making sure those are in the right zones, like getting sleep, you're eating, like all those things. Because like all the people that I know who've made it to the very top, they did all those things all the way through. And well, like I try to tell younger rowers, like the Instagrammable moments will come and like those will be the real Instagrammable moments. When you've done all those things, then you'll be posting from the world champ, then you'll be posting from all these things. And that's the real flex, right? Like but that's a hard sell and that's like a long view. But yeah, it's enjoying it, making sure you're having like fun doing it, and then doing the small things right. That's probably what I would tell younger rowers.